welcome inside Reynolds Coliseum here in Raleigh, North Carolina. We've got a fantastic women's college gymnastics meet for you on ESPN. You've got the home team, the NC State Wolfpack, taking on the Broncos from Western Michigan and the Tar Heels from just down the road in Chapel Hill at UNC. I'm Rachel Garland alongside Sydney Sneed, and we have just a fantastic lineup for you. We're going to take a quick look at some of these gymnasts to watch.
Chloe Negretti, wow, what a fantastic year. She has been a rock star for this Wolfpack team, had 3 9.9s across the board in the last home meet and was Eagle Specialist this past week as well. Just someone to watch out for. Absolutely beautiful gymnastics.
Peyton Murphy there for the Broncos, one of their senior all-arounders, the all-time school record holder, tied her own record last week with a 39.4 in the all-around, was also a finalist for the Honda Inspiration Award last year.
And Julia Noer as well, fantastic all-arounder for the Tar Heels.
Absolutely. In this tri-meet, we've got all 3 teams competing at the same time. The home team has advantage of starting on vault, transitioning to bars, beam, and then ending on the floor exercise. Western Michigan, they're going to start on the bars and rotate in the same order. North Carolina has the fantastic opportunity of starting on balance beam, which head coach Dana Durante actually appreciates.
She did. Talking with her earlier this week, she said it's just a great event for them to start on. You kind of get it out of the way, but also just sets you up for that postseason.
Bars is already underway, so we've got the leadoff. This is Abby Singh, starting strong so far.
A nice stuck double layout dismount. Great job with that landing. It's exactly what you want to see from every single girl in the lineup.
Taking another quick look here.
Beautiful lines in the air. Knew exactly where she was.
And this Bronco team, last couple meets, mid to upper 195s. Coach Jernigan knows that they are a 196 plus team. They really just got to put it all together. We'll get started. Gabby Diaz is the leadoff for this Wolfpack team. She competes in 3 events, and she is the leadoff on all 3 events.
That's such a great spot to be in. Your leadoff, they get the ball rolling, the momentum going.
Consistency.
Absolutely, and can be a very pressuring spot as well.
Kate Green for the Tar Heels on beam.
Really nice vault. You could see the hop back, so that'll be a deduction, but had great amplitude off the table.
Absolutely, back over to the balance beam. Oh, sorry, this is Hannah Nam.
Just had a slight wobble to start off that routine. That will be a bigger deduction. Looked like her hips were just turned on that acro series.
So not the 5/10 deduction, but that also puts them in kind of a tricky spot where you're starting with this big air on your very first event.
It looked like on bars. Just couldn't quite get that grip on that release move.
It's Hallie Faulkner that's competing for the Broncos. So no teams last week. Actually, I take that back. Western Michigan did have to count 1 fall on balance beam, but they did not have to count a fall on bar. So again, puts them just kind of down 1. As a reminder, the top 6 gymnasts compete, but only 5 scores count. So this is a score that they can drop. We'll get our first look at Krista Zoltovich for the Wolfpack. Another 3-event specialist.
Almost had that stick.
She had it, and I know they have worked so hard on those landings. We watched them in warm-ups, and they seemed to nail so many of them. It was one of those things if they were going to be able to do that in competition. So she tried. We'll take a quick look at Hallie Faulkner finishing up her bar routine after that fall.
Finished it with a nice double tuck. Again, you don't want to count that fall, but the next girls go up and hit. It'll be okay.
Absolutely. This is Gwen Fink for the Tar Heels.
There's a little more pressure added for Gwen in this routine. Again, it wasn't a fall, but it was a big deduction from Hannah. So really looking for some consistency. She's just the person to do it. But she's really looking to get her team back on track.
Absolutely. Quick look over at the vault.
There was a landing they've been looking for.
If anyone can do it, it's Lex, and she stuck a number of those in warm-up, so it's really good to be able to see her put that in the competition. So Gwen Fink getting started. Again, really looking to pull that UNC team back, and they had a 9-4-5 in that leadoff spot from Nam. Gwen actually fell last week, so you not only have the pressure on yourself of, okay, I fell last week, I want to get back into this, but now my teammate fell as well.
Right. There's for sure some added pressure considering both of those factors. So we'll see how she handles this.
Danny Petrusik on the uneven bars on the left of your screen.
A nice acro series for Gwen to start off that routine. And a double pike dismount off the bars. Nice landing, had a small step forward, so that'll be a slight deduction.
Again, just really looking for 5 strong scores from the rest of the Broncos. Lauren Rutherford on the vault.
Really nice height off the table. Couldn't quite get the stick, but still a really good landing. You can see Gwen's gearing up for a dismount. Really pretty 1.5, had that hop, but it's a hit routine. It's exactly what you want to see in this spot in the lineup coming after a fall.
And they've got some big beam workers coming up. Another quick look here at Lauren Rutherford.
Can see the nice height off the table. It almost looked like she piked down a little bit. She could have broken out and would have had that stick. Again, those are the small details. Now we're getting to a point in season where we are expecting to see more of those sticks on every event. And I know Coach Landers talked to us this week about paying attention to those small details, because ultimately those add up, at the end of the meet.
They really do. You take a 0.5 to a 10th on every landing, and you do that across 4 events. That's a 2-point difference. Donna K. Roy.
A nice Shaposh release move. Back down to low bar. You can see her legs and her feet are just perfectly together. Great form on this routine. They're glued. Ready for the dismount. Landed a little short. It looked like she just couldn't get that rotation all the way around, but a really nice routine other than that slight deduction on the dismount.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick look at Emily Shepard. She went while the last bar performance was happening.
Really big vault. Her feet didn't move. It looked like she had a little bit of a bounce, but really great landing. Had a huge height off the table as well.
Absolutely. Shepard ranked 3rd in the Eagle Conference on vault, a season high of a 9.9. Back over to the beam. This is Hallie Thompson.
Her back handspring, back layout absolutely nails it.
And Chloe Negretti on the left there, ranked 2nd in the conference and just flies.
Huge vault. We saw her nail one in warm-ups as well. She didn't even move her feet. So again, a slight hop on the landing.
The downside is that vault is only worth at 9.95. So when you take that 10th, you're out of the 9.9 range. The Wolfpack's got a couple exhibitions coming up. Hallie Thompson on beam is tied for 6th in the Eagle. a season high of a 9.825.
Round off 1.5 dismount, had a small step on that. But overall, a good hit routine.
And here is all-arounder Peyton Murphy.
Really pretty release move. Back down, bail to handstand. Now back up, getting ready for her dismount. A nice blind full. Wow, what a great routine.
I love that unique dismount as well. The full pirouette combination into the toe front half.
You don't see too many of those.
You've got to really finish that the pirouette on, like, in the handstand.
Yeah, you can see the difficulty in that, but no problem for her.
And she, prior to an injury, had to learn a new dismount, and that is the dismount that she's learned, and she does it quite well. Madison Benson for the Wolfpack doing an exhibition, one of their 10.0 vaults.
That was a really nice vault. It does have a front landing, and I know we've talked about this before, but the front landings are more difficult to know where you're at in the air, to be able to stick the landing. But again, you want to see those 10.0 vaults getting into the lineup.
So we'll take another quick look at this. So she can't see the floor as she goes forward. You just have to have this cat-like air awareness.
That's what those stick drills are for.
Definitely. Elizabeth Colton is up next for the Tar Heels on beam.
She has such beautiful lines, beautiful toe point.
Ranked third in the Eagle on this event, a season high of a 9.9. You see NC State there right at that 49 mark, really trying to start pushing these scores over 49. I would say 49 anymore is kind of an average. It's a good event, a good score, but these teams are really looking to get into those, 49.2 to 49.4, 49.5 range.
Yeah, I think that's a great call out, especially talking with the coaches this week. They all talked about wanting those 49 plus all the way around.
Absolutely. That was Sarah Moravanski on the uneven bars for the Broncos, and Shruti Anand for the Wolfpack on vault doing an exhibition. It's amazing how many vaults and bars you can get done in the same time as one beam routine.
Elizabeth Colton still on the beam. So far, so good. This is a new dismount for her. Had that slight step, but overall a great routine.
Absolutely, and she did one of those side aerial full dismounts last year. Now that they have to have a C dismount, she had to change this dismount, so learned it in the off season.
A gainer full off the side of the beam is not an easy dismount to just learn.
No, I tried it a couple times. Nope.
Back over to the bars. Really nice reverse hack. You can see how she actually went in between the bars, which is more difficult. You don't see that as often. And a really nice bail to handstand. A nice blind full to set up double tuck dismount. Had that step back, but a really good routine as well.
Absolutely. That was Brecken Quas in the exhibition spot for the Broncos.
I know we've talked about exhibitions before, but we're still at the point in season where there are lineup changes. We may see some injuries start to happen. You want to rest some people. So having those exhibitions are so important and so crucial for, your 7, 8, 9 spots that want to try and break into that lineup as well.
Definitely. And Coach Jernigan mentioned on our call earlier in the week that these are not their final lineups. They're still playing around with a lot of them, trying to figure out what's going to work for this team. So we've got bars and vault are complete. We've still got a couple of individuals on the balance beam, Julia Noer and Taylor Schultz for the Tar Heels.
Julia is such a aggressive competitor, and you see that in all 4 events, and we'll see that tonight. She is an all-arounder.
Julia ranked 5th on this event. So the Tar Heels and the Wolfpack both in the Eagle Conference, Western Michigan in the MAC Conference.
She nailed that back handspring, back layout. It looked like she was floating on the beam.
You can see the concentration in her face.
Really nice front toss.
Again, she makes it look so easy.
So easy, and you can just see from these skills how much power she has.
A season high of a 9.875 on this event.
Nice leap series. Looked like she was a little off, but covered very well. Just taking a deep breath and getting ready for that dismount. Round off 1.5. Nice stick. She's happy about that.
Pretty sure she saluted the fans in the audience before the judges.
We'll take another look right here at this dismount. Round off, huge height off the beam, 1.5. Nice stick.
A nice point to the fans before taking that step turn to finish to the judges. So Julia Noer in the 5th spot for this Tar Heel team. We've got Taylor Schultz.
I know we talked about this earlier as well, but bars and vault finish so quickly. And now, you know, beam and floor obviously take a little bit longer.
Definitely. And that's why in dual meets that they do the flip-flop.
Right.
So that you're not having one team on bars and one team on beam, just because there will be a lot. So Taylor Schultz is up next in the final spot, and then they do have listed one exhibition. We'll see if that takes place. A little bit about Dana Durante. Led UNC to an NCAA regional berth last season. It was the first time in that program since 2017.
She's just done a great job with this program. And talking to her this week, we talked about, hey, what's the bigger picture look like? Yes, you know, the gymnastics is there, but what do you want to accomplish in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years? And so hearing her goals of how they want to make an impact in the community and they want to be top 10 were all really cool and neat. And you can see that she's done, like I said, such a great job so far.
Absolutely. I think it's going to show they're ranked 27th currently, highest since way back in 2007. So really, really having just a huge impact on this Tar Heel team.
Had a wobble on that acro series. Nice switch leap into a split jump. We really want to see those splits 180 degrees.
So far, so good. And again, they're just needing those 5 hit routines.
A nice aerial 1.5 dismount, which is a difficult dismount. We don't see many of those, but it's a hit routine and it was solid.
Absolutely. That will allow them to drop that 9.45 that they got at the top of the rotation from Hannah Nam.
that really says a lot about this team. Having, again, not a fall, but close, a big deduction on that first routine and being able to kind of bounce back and reset and have the next 5 hit is something that you're proud of.
Yes, most definitely. And it does not appear that they're going to take their exhibition spot. So that concludes rotation number 1. You're watching women's gymnastics on ESPN. We'll be right back after the break. Here in Raleigh, North Carolina, we've got a fantastic meet underway. Tri-meet between NC State, Michigan, and North Carolina. Sydney, tell us just a little bit, such a close meet already. Wrap up rotation number 1 for us.
Well, it was a great rotation for all teams. Unfortunately, UNC and Western Michigan did have a fall, but the good news is they didn't have to count it, and that's exactly what you want to see at this point in the season. The rest of the lineup bounce back, reset that team, and now, you know, we're off to rotation number 2.
Absolutely. NC State's got a slight lead of 49.0. The other 2 teams of 48.8, 48.825. So we're going to be really down to the wire on taking some of those steps and sticking some of the landing. So let's take a quick look at some of the season snapshots. NC State ranked 23rd. There you can see their average already over a 196. But honestly, a 196 is not going to cut it. That used to be what would make it into the postseason and the nationals. They've got to get that up a little bit.
Right. You definitely want to be in that mid to high 196 range at this point in the season. Obviously, 197 would be amazing as well.
Definitely the goal. Oh, you see ranked top 30 in all 4 events. Floor, the lowest ranking there, but they will get that back. And then Chloe Negretti back, and really great to have her. Western Michigan, again, a great team. I think they've got a lot of improvement still yet to come, but they just haven't been able to put it all together yet.
And like Coach Jernigan mentioned, there are some people that aren't in the lineups right now, so they very much are capable of that 196.
Absolutely. And then a quick snapshot at the Tar Heels. High of that 196.325. So the NC State and UNC just tenths apart, and they are ranked 1-2 in the Eagle Conference. Freshman Kaya Forbes there, her 3rd weekly Eagle honors, and she has just been a rock as a freshman.
Absolutely. She's been really fun to watch as well. All the way from the first meet to now, she's definitely broken out of her shell a little bit more. You can see it come to life in this floor routine that she'll do, and I'm really excited for her to watch her the rest of the year.
Absolutely. She's quiet. Coach Durant has said she's quiet. She's a little bit shy, but she has so much power, and we'll get to see that on her floor routine. Western Michigan already underway on the balance beam. There is no stopping them. NC State getting started on the uneven bars as well. Kaylee Adamaides.
Back handspring back layout series, had a wobble on that.
And then this is Ronnie Binstock for the Broncos. And Hannah Nam in the leadoff spot again for the Tar Heel team.
That was a nice leap on the balance beam.
Hannah really looking to bring it back from not a true fall, but definitely a big air on balance beam.
First pass, really big round off back handspring, double pike, a nice landing on that.
UNC's floor average of a 48.944. So again, their beam score kind of right in lines with that. Their season high of 49.125. season high 49.35.
A 49.35 is a great score. That's exactly what we're looking for at this point in season for every team.
Absolutely, and Coach Durante just wanting to make that, instead of the high, wants to make that kind of the norm. So that 49.3 needs to be where every meet is coming in at.
And then on floor, 1.5 to a front full.
Peyton Childs there on the left of your screen for NC State.
Unfortunately, had a fall on her release move.
Couldn't quite keep the grip on that one. There you see Kaylee's score coming in for the Wolfpack, a 9.7. As we take a look over at the balance beam, Danny Petrusik. A 9.675 from Ronnie prior to this.
Difficult turn to start off this beam routine.
Peyton still trying to finish strong.
Finishing off with that double tug dismount. Nice landing. Unfortunately, that is a fall for the Wolfpack.
So far, so good on this beam routine.
Nice switch leap to tuck full. And getting ready for her dismount. Punch front full. Wow, nice landing.
We'll take a quick look at this punch front full.
That was a spot on stick. I mean, that's another front landing, so not easy.
Like you said, sometimes they get that little bounce from the mats, but that one did not move. So 2 up and 2 hits for the Broncos. Kate Green up next for the Tar Heels. A little extra time coming in, calculating Nam's score.
And Kate's been great on floor this year. She actually didn't compete last year, so Coach Durante said she worked really hard to get back in this floor lineup.
So you see a 9.6 there for Hannah Nam in the first leadoff spot.
A lot of that came from, it looked like she had some directional issues on that last pass, which the judges can see and will take off for.
This is Sophia Obregon for the Wolfpack there on the left side of your screen. Really looking for that hit routine after the fall.
A nice double layout dismount on bars. Looked like she had that stick, but moved her foot a little bit still.
The college stick.
Yeah, the college stick. We love that. Kate started out with a really nice double pike.
Gigi Singh mounting the beam for the Broncos, following a 9.75 by Petrusik.
A nice 1.5 front layout on the floor for that second pass. Now getting ready for her last pass. A round off back handspring, really high double tuck, had no issues with that. Really good routine on the floor exercise.
Absolutely. You saw Gigi Singh there, really held on to that triple flight series, so You could see her toes gripping the side of the beam, but she was not going to come off. So probably a 3/10 deduction, better than the 5. Still one that they would hopefully like to drop.
You really love to see that fight, though, especially on an event like balance beam. Again, a 3/10 to 5/10 difference could mean a lot come the end of the meet. Nice stuck dismount to finish that routine.
So a great fight from Singh. Moving back over to the uneven bars, Lex Ortega.
Huge release move. Right down to that bail to handstand, back up to the high bar. Getting ready for this double out dismount, huge double out. Almost had that stick, saluted really quick, but a really pretty routine. One thing that she did well were her handstands, and that's something that the judges look at.
Definitely looking at those being right on top of the bar. They can be within 10 degrees, but it's really hard. When you've got a person, it's hard to see what that 10 degrees is going to be. We'll take a quick look here at this dismount.
You can see how it just floats in the air. Almost had that. Almost had the stick.
She was trying. She was trying. Maybe a 1/2 on that one, not the full 10. Sarah Moravanski.
It's a little bit of a waiting game right now for balance beam. That's never fun.
Moravanski, one of the all-arounders. The Broncos actually have 3 all-arounders competing today. And we've got Brianna Greenlow on floor for the Tar Heels.
First pass, huge double pike, nice landing. Over on the balance beam, back handspring, layout step out. Really pretty triple series.
Bree always having so much fun with her dance.
Yeah, you can definitely tell she's having a great time out there. And a fun fact is that she cuts her own music on floor. So that's not something that you see or hear about every day.
Definitely not. You also hear of gymnasts that choreograph their own floor routines. All right, Emily Shepard on the uneven bars for this Wolfpack team.
Really nice dismount. I think that was the slightest hop.
Oh, and an unfortunate fall for Bree.
On that last pass, it looked like she just couldn't quite get that tuck all the way around.
It was such a gorgeous routine, too.
Absolutely, it was a really pretty routine. Again, floor is tough from an endurance standpoint. It's really important, that last pass.
Yeah, almost landed that 1.5 kind of leaning backwards and kind of stopped her momentum versus being straight up and down to keep moving forward.
It almost looked like a dead spot on the floor, like there wasn't a punch, and sometimes we see that.
There could be, I mean, there's springs under the floor and they're not exactly perfectly close together, so she could have just hit right between where those springs connect. We'll never know. So Elizabeth Colton going to look to pick up the slack on floor. So all teams struggling just a little bit so far. We had the Broncos with a fall on uneven bars. They had the kind of big air on balance beam so far. As we take a look at Amanda Gruber, UNC had the big air on beam, now a fall on floor, and NC State's had a fall on the uneven bars.
Yeah, like you said, a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes from these teams.
Lauren Rutherford getting ready for her dismount, actually ranked 9th in the Eagle on the uneven bars.
A nice double layout, had no problems getting that around. And a nice landing. It'll be a slight deduction for the tiniest bit of feet movement.
Got some nice fans in the audience with painted chests. I love the pink for the pink meet.
Yeah, I like to see that. It gets the crowd and the gymnasts going.
So Amanda Gruber wrapping up.
Round off a 1.5 dismount. Nice stick.
So a few airs on beam. Nobody's come off the beam yet. But still, some things that they'll be able to work on in the gym. Elizabeth Colton on the floor exercise.
We talked about her on beam, just the beautiful lines, toe point artistry that she has. It's displayed on all of the events she competes in.
So the only event we will not see her on is vault.
Round off by Kate Spring. Nice double tug, beautiful landing.
Gabby Diaz exhibitioning on the uneven bars. So Gabby in the lineup on 3 events, actually competing for herself in the all-around today as she competes on the uneven bars as well.
Tried to save that stuck
She really
dismount.
did. She really did.
Now over on floor for her second pass. You can see punch front layout into a Rudy. Beautiful.
She knows exactly where she's at and how much room she has to take that step backwards on those landings.
It really is amazing how you have an air sense while you're flipping, but then when you land, it's like you just know how close you are to being out of bounds or not.
All right, another look at Peyton Murphy. 2 of 4 for her today.
Wow, what a nice front toss in that piked position. It's a difficult skill. And I know when we talked to Coach Jernigan, we talked about Peyton Murphy and just the incredible story that she has. And it was really cool to hear. She was a finalist for the Honda Inspirational Award. She actually had a bad neck injury and came back, and you love to see her competing all 4 events after, you know, such a tough injury.
Definitely something that a lot of people would not come back from, or they would just say,
Stop
okay, I'm
gymnastics.
done, I'm gonna retire. But
Yeah.
she was the MAC Gymnast of the Year the following year. She's made a full comeback. We talked about that new bar dismount.
Absolutely incredible.
Just that small hop on the landing, but a phenomenal routine out of Murphy. It's always fun to get the high fives, but it's like you can't high five your teammates fast enough. Everyone wants a high five. A 9.85 coming in for Colton on the floor exercise. And then we've got the freshman we talked about, Kaya Forbes. She will be up next for the Tar Heels.
She just has so much power. She does a huge full in for her opening pass.
And again, it's one of those things, small but mighty.
Right.
So let's just watch her fly on this.
Huge full in. Almost had too much power, but really covered that on the lunge. Too much power is a great problem to have.
Especially, you know, early kind of, now we're making our way into more what I would consider mid-season, where now it's time to learn to control the power.
A nice middle pass.
This is a cool way to watch the gymnastics.
I agree.
I like that, especially with with Kaya dancing, all the teammates dancing on the side. Dana had talked a little bit about one thing that they've tried to do as a team is just increase the power overall, the power of the gymnasts that they recruit and bring on. And we've seen that in some of the freshmen and sophomores already. So that's one area that they have really looked at as an area of growth.
And now for her last pass, huge double tuck. Looked like she broke out early because she had plenty of power. So that'll be a slight deduction, but overall, a really good routine.
Definitely, and she nailed that in warm-ups, just stuck a lot of those double backs cold. So a fantastic routine for Kaya Forbes. Julia Noer in the final spot for the Tar Heels. And we've got an exhibition on balance beam. This is Gigi Singh.
A nice jump series to start off the beam routine. Getting ready for her acro. Back handspring, back layout. Nice height on that. Slight bent legs, but that's an easy fix.
You can see that right calf and shin wrapped and taped up. And again, we've talked about how Coach Jernigan, they've just been nursing some injuries. They actually have the majority of their team returning from last year. But you've got the off season, you've got training, and just sometimes things happen. And so they've got to really just watch some of the injuries so they can put their full team in at the end of the season. Not sure what happened there on that dismount. She did kind of
it looked like she just didn't get her feet on the beam for that round off. So she might have just stopped midway. Yeah, it looked like she was going for that round off, just couldn't get her feet on, so.
And that's actually, we had Gigi Singh in the exhibition. I believe that was actually Cassie St. Clair. So Julia Noer, ranked 8th in the Eagle on this event. A season high of a 9.95. And we should also mention that right now, the rankings are still being done by the average and not their regional or national qualifying score. So all these will change after about week 6 or week 7.
Right, and you can tell why that's her season high. I mean, huge first pass, double pike, great landing.
Her average is a 9.825 right now.
Just such a powerful gymnast, so consistent. And talking to Coach Draney, just a natural leader. And she talked about how she's been such a great leader, but is also a great supporter as well. So really cool to see her this entire season. This is a fun floor routine, very rock and roll style.
She has so much fun with this.
Now getting ready for her last pass. A round off back handspring. Huge double tuck. That's going to be a big score for the Tar Heels. Can see her pointing at the judges. Her personality is really coming out on these landings, I think. She's
definitely. The judge even chuckled a little bit.
You have to.
Which is always fun to see. We'll take a quick look at her last tumbling pass. So the judge is sitting right over to the right of your screen.
The huge double tuck, she went out of the screen. She gave that judge a quick side-eye look like, hey, did you just see that nailed landing?
Definitely. So that concludes rotation number 2. You see NC State there with the slight lead, but the scores will change after Julia Noer's score comes in. And we're actually going to take a quick look at some behind-the-scenes footage of NC State's trip to Auburn last weekend, where they competed against the number 5 team in the country.
Lex, can you give us a little OOTD?
Okay, so my jacket's Adidas. This is also Adidas. My leggings are Adidas. Shoes, Adidas. Well, socks. Socks, Amazon. Hoops, Amazon. Necklaces, probably Amazon, if I had to guess.
Amazon. Gorgeous.
NC State. We're out of here, boys. We're out of here.
Hey, Pack Nation.
See you in Atlanta. Goodbye. We're on our way to Auburn.
How are you feeling?
So we're doing treatment, kind of hanging out before dinner. Look at this lovely station.
The best.
Oh my god, my OCD. It looks cute. Oh, the best.
And pose.
And
Wow! Hey Grace, welcome to day 2. How was your breakfast?
Amazing. How was yours?
It was great. How's your breakfast, Merch?
It was great.
War pack!
that's right. That's right. We're going for Big H, Big Stick, baby! Big H, baby! That was a big H!
North Carolina, we are midway through this tri-meet between NC State, Western Michigan, and North Carolina. NC State with the slight lead by just a couple of tenths. We'll take a quick look at Coach Landers in her 6th season as the NC State head coach. 2021 Eagle regular season champions, and really just doing a lot of fantastic items with this team, similar to what Coach Durante had mentioned, is really just trying to build the program overall.
Absolutely. And focusing specifically on this year, she mentioned continuing to understand that the little things make a big difference and continuing that momentum and the climb. And again, for the big picture of the season, where do we want to be at when postseason comes around? Where do we want to finish at? And now in midseason, if you know that's what we want to say, is where you really start to gear up on those tiny little things. And some of those are landings.
Definitely. We've talked a little bit about their national qualifying score. Everything right now has been done by the season average, where they're just taking all the scores and dividing it and coming up with the rankings. But that's going to change in a couple of weeks when they actually have a formula for what they consider their national qualifying score. So quick look at the NC State lineup while Gabby Diaz sets us off for the Wolfpack team on balance beam. Kate Green starting off strong on vault.
A nice full, looked a little pike down, but great lead off.
And Sarah Moravansky, again, one of 3 all-arounders on the Bronco team.
On beam, you could see she just did a front aerial to a back handspring that was solid.
Looks like a little issue with the floor music.
A nice switch leap to split jump. Again, that lead-off spot, such a crucial and pressuring spot to be in. And so far, so good.
I was just going to say, NC State ranked number 1 in the Eagle on balance beam, 26th nationally.
That's huge. That's definitely something to be proud of. Nice duck dismount.
She held on to that one. dug those toes into the mat.
A pretty beam routine. Really sets the tone for the rest of this lineup.
Over on vault, Gwen Fink.
Really big full, had the slightest hop back, but had great height off that table. Now on floor, nice double pike. Did have a larger lunge, that could be a little deduction.
The judges want to see a controlled landing. You are allowed to take that step, but it needs to be shoulder distance, maybe a little further.
And that's really where we talk about the air sense. Knowing where you're at, being able to land with your chest up is really what's going to get you to that controlled, slight lunge landing.
Well, she is ranked 5th in the MAC conference on this event. Or sorry, 5th in the conference on the all-around. So you can see how this event kind of plays into that. So very solid across the board.
And now for this last pass. Front layout, front full. And that'll be a solid routine for them.
Definitely a great lead off, as UNC is almost halfway done with their lineup. Paige Presian, a vault specialist. So this is her only event.
Really nice layout full. Had to take that hop on the landing. That's really where we want to see those sticks. But overall, nice vault, good amplitude.
Macy Jennings for the Wolfpack, known by her teammates as the Beam Queen.
That's a fun title to have.
This is actually the only event where NC State's average is not over a 49. They come in at a 48.956.
It's really close to that 49.
So close. But again, I mean, that's like a scooch of a foot on a landing.
It is. A nice back handspring, back layout. Really pretty form. And that's something on an event that the judges are looking at. You want that nice form, the legs, arms, even down to your fingertips extended. The artistry is a big area of focus for this event.
You see that big score coming in for Diaz, a 9.8 in the leadoff spot. So they were just under a 49 on the uneven bars, looking for that 98 plus at the halfway point, and they were 97.95, I believe.
A 9.8 as a leadoff spot is a great place to start, and obviously you just want your lineup to continue to build and hope that you drop that 9.8 score.
Definitely. That's, I would say, top 10 teams, top 15 teams in the country. That's what their leadoffs are doing. Julia Noer quickly on the vault.
Huge layout full. She'll get a deduction on that landing, but when she sticks that, that's going to be a big score.
Danny Petrusik.
A front full punch layout. Could see the height on both of those skills.
So the Broncos starting off with 2 of their all-arounders, and then Murphy's going to finish us up in the 6th spot. All the Broncos have that WM in their floor routine. So the Wolfpack has the Wolfpack sign. They do the WM for Western Michigan.
I think that's such a fun little addition that teams can do.
As long as your team has some sort of like hand-arm motion.
Right, some teams it's a little more difficult. A nice double pike.
So a fantastic finish for Petrusik. Kaya Forbes up on vault. This is a 10-0 vault for the Tar Heels.
We're gonna see huge vault right here. You could just see the power that she had. Again, really great height and amplitude off the table, but did take that really big step, which unfortunately will be a deduction. But let's take another look.
We'll see how high she gets blocked, just straight up in the air.
I mean, she could break out of that way earlier, and that's where she'd have that
definitely.
stick.
She opens a little bit, but not enough to control that landing.
She's only a freshman, so she's got plenty of time to get that landing nailed down.
Krista Zoltovich for the Wolfpack.
A nice back handspring, back layout, acro series. I love that she smiles. She smiles during her whole beam routine, which it's, you know, easier said than done.
I feel like you have to really enjoy beam to smile.
You have to think about smiling on beam. You actually have to think about it.
I have heard of gymnasts that choreograph smiles into their routines. Just like, okay, I look this way and I smile, and I look here and I smile.
Gives it a nice little flair, spices it up.
Lolly Dekanoitsa for the Tar Heels. Huge vault.
Another huge vault, like you said, off the table. All of these athletes have gotten huge height, which is one thing that the judges are looking for. They really just need to nail down on those landings. A good stick on the balance beam. Had to have her chest a little bit forward to be able to hold it, but a nice beam routine.
Ronnie Binstock for Western Michigan. Ronnie, a beam and floor specialist for this team.
A round off back handspring, double pike. A little short on that landing.
So far, 3 hit routines for the Broncos on floor. Really looking to kind of up that momentum. Getting midway into season.
And one thing that you want to look at is maybe not as much focus on the scores, but about, hey, we want to hit 6 for 6 routines, and the scores will follow that. Sometimes that's a better and easier way to look at it, because when you start to look at the scores, and sometimes it can mess with your head. You don't want to, you know, think about too much. So really just thinking and focusing on hitting your routines, and the scores will come after.
Definitely. And then a quick look at Coach Jernigan, head coach for the Western Michigan Broncos. In her 10th season with them, made it to the postseason regionals as a team last year. Take a quick look at Lex Ortega. I say quick look, beam is not a quick event, but a really unique acro series.
Very difficult. Back handspring to an Anodi. Has no problem with it there. She does that beautifully, because that is a very difficult series.
And she's struggled on that a little bit this year, but when she does it perfectly, it looks beautiful. Donna Kay Roy.
Getting ready for her first pass. A round up by Kinsbring. Huge full in. She did step out of bounds. The judge's hand did go up. But it looked like she could have stayed in bounds, that's a good thing. That's an easy problem to fix.
It's still fun to see some of the big skills. We see a lot of E-level skills this season. I would say more so than we have in seasons past.
I would agree with that. I think we're seeing a lot more unique skills as well, and some of that comes from the requirements that have been changed. For example, like the beam dismount, it's now required to have at least a C.
So you don't have to have the E tumbling passes, you don't have to have the E skills at all, but that does help you go from that start value of a 9.4 to get to your 10.0.
And a really nice last pass. Difficult for your last pass.
So a great, getting some feedback from Coach Jernigan there. 10th season, like I mentioned, as Western Michigan's head coach, 2020 Mid-Atlantic Conference Coach of the Year. Just really done great things with this program. If you look at their standings from the time she took over to where she's at now, they have just continued to increase under her leadership.
One thing she mentioned is just that they need to stay in their bubble. And each week is just focusing on improving.
So some really good, really strong things. She's also a level 10 judge, so in terms of an eye for detail, she has spent numerous years judging gymnasts as well. Emily Shepard for the Wolfpack on beam. So Shepard and Negretti both ranked in the top 10. Shepard ranked number 9 in the Eagle Conference, a high of a 9.875 on this event.
Really pretty leap series. Again, looking for that 180-degree split. Getting ready for her acro series. Back handspring, back layout, nails it.
So we talked about the hand gestures, all the Wolfpack teams, beam and floor, both have that in their routines.
So far, a really solid routine from Emily. She just has her dismount left. A nice side aerial. Wow, to a stuck 1.5. That was a beautiful routine.
Absolutely gorgeous routine. And again, she had to change that beam dismount from that side aerial full to a 1.5. Take another quick look here.
I mean, her feet didn't even move on that landing. That was a solid stick. Exactly what they are looking for.
We've got Cassie St. Clair for the Broncos. You can see all the scores kind of slowly coming in the bottom right.
We can see the deduction from the last out of bounds.
Which still looks like a 9.5, so with the 10th off, it would be a 9.6. It still seems a little low to me, but we have a different viewpoint.
Right.
I'll let the judges do what judges do.
We'll round off at 1.5. Really nice front layout. It's fun to watch all the different types of floor routines and personalities.
And for those that come up with all the choreography, they've got to have so many styles in their back pocket just to match every gymnast.
Absolutely. I love the facial expressions. Getting ready for her next pass.
I remember talking to one coach last year, and they said it really well when it said floor has become a performance. It's a theater performance, and you can tell when they do use their face and they use their full body, it's so much more energetic. Now, there's some routines where you don't want the facial expressions, and I get that.
Right. The judges can actually deduct for artistry on floor, so it's something to keep in mind. You do have to pay attention to it.
So a fantastic finish for St. Clair. We're going to take another look at this last tumbling pass. A great front double full. Again, one of those E skills, which is really difficult to do at the end of your floor routine.
Yeah, I was going to say, doing that at the end makes it even more challenging.
So a great way to bring the scores back up from Donna Kay. As we take a look at Chloe Negretti in the anchor spot for this Wolfpack team.
She's such a fierce competitor. You can see it in her eyes. I know we've talked about it before. But she's definitely someone that you can count on to come out with a nice hit routine.
So last time at home, she had 9 9s across the board. She's got a 9.85 on vault. Looking to at least hit that, if not that 9.9 that she is more than capable of. Chloe actually ranked #1 in the Eagle Conference as of today.
Looks like she's having to wait a little bit longer on beam.
Waiting on Shepard's score, which is interesting, as I didn't think that there was that much wrong.
I didn't either.
Not too many deductions to take. Normally when there's less deductions, the scores come out pretty quick.
Right, they may be looking at a connection or so. That waiting game is tough.
So you see there that red 9.9 is actually the start value that they're showing for Emily Shepard. So she didn't get, one of the judges at least did not give her a connection or a difficulty value. So her routine did not start from that 10.0. I have a feeling that Coach Landers is probably going to put in an inquiry on that.
Yes, I would agree with you on that. These beam routines start at a 9.4, and you've got to build bonus and connections to be able to get to that 10.0. So sometimes when you don't have one of those connections, then you won't start from the 10.0, which is what we just saw from Emily Shepard.
Definitely, and that's what you saw. Coach Landers handing the paper to the meet referee was one of the inquiry forms. So making sure that Emily gets all of her connection. And again, it can come down to a 10th. So if she does bump that up to a 10.0, her score may increase as well. One of the chances you take, though, is the score could also decrease. But we'll watch Chloe
And so far, a very solid routine. She has not moved. Really pretty split jump. You could see the extension in her pointed toes.
She definitely hits that 180 split, if not slightly above. You don't get extra credit for doing more than 180 degrees. It just helps the judges see that you did hit the 180.
And a nice double full dismount with the slightest hop.
Just that time, that was really all that I saw wrong on that routine. I'd call that a half tenth, so maybe a 9.95.
I would definitely give that routine a 9.9 at least.
We'll see what the judges come up with on Chloe's routine. Take another quick look.
A round off double full dismount, which we don't see too often in collegiate gymnastics. It is a little bit more popular now than in the past couple years, but we usually see those 1.5 dismounts. The double full sometimes is a little harder to stick.
The 1.5, although it has a blind landing, it seems to be becoming more and more popular off beam. Although on vault, it's different because you got so much extra power. On beam, you can control it a little bit. Your round off doesn't have to be super explosive.
And that's something that we've talked about too, looking at the events. Vault and floor are such power events and you're so amped up. And then when you go to bars and beam, it's a lot more of a calming event. And so I think that's something people forget, is that each event is so different. So it's important to refocus and kind of reset per event.
So Peyton Murphy in the anchor spot for this Bronco floor lineup. They do have Amanda Gruber listed as an exhibition, so we'll get to see if she comes on. And the Wolfpack has an exhibition on beam as well. This looks like Sophia Obregon.
A nice front tuck through to huge double tuck. Beautiful landing on that first pass.
It's hard to see just how big it is on the screen, but she's right in front of us. We are next to the floor, and we've seen her warm up and in her touch, and that front through to double tuck is just huge.
Now for her second pass. Rudy to a huge straddle jump. Sometimes when you're that high in the air, it's hard to control the landing.
So far, so good for both gymnasts.
Stuck landing on that beam dismount. And her last pass, a round off double pike, another huge landing. What a great routine.
Very excited about that one. That was a great routine. Really good landings, controlled, and so much power out of Peyton.
And then her last pass, huge double pike. Her chest was all completely up on that landing.
So we do have a floor exhibition. And I believe the Wolfpack is done with beam.
A 9.925 for Peyton Murphy. Very well deserved.
I believe that's the top score of the day so far, and that well deserved. Amanda Gruber on floor as an exhibition.
Again, these exhibition scores don't count, so there's not too much pressure, but they are great to see if there are any changes in lineups. This is the opportunity to be able to break into them.
And again, Coach Jernigan really playing around with some of these lineups. She said none of these are permanent lineups. Some of these are just placeholders, is the word that she used, as they're resting some injuries. So she wants to really be able to have a 7, 8, and 9 in case those individuals can go in and out as needed.
That's where some of that competitiveness comes in to practice and in the gym as well. I mean, these athletes work so hard all week long to pay attention to the tiniest of details.
And she did say so far she's got 8 really good floor routines, and she'd be confident putting any of them in at any time. So Gruber, just another example of that as we wrap up the third rotation. I believe that is it. So NC State, again, slightly in the lead with that 146.9, a 48.95 again on balance beam. They're going to be moving to the floor exercise. UNC is going to wrap up their meet on the uneven bars, and the Broncos are going to be headed to the vault. So that is 3 down, 1 to go. We were going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few moments. Welcome back to the fourth and final rotation. We've got a fantastic meet separated by less than 4/10 between these 3 teams. Some great fans in the audience. You saw some probably college fans with their chest painted, some probably local gymnasts coming out to just hype up especially between NC State and UNC. Always a good one for some of the local fans coming out. NC State going to be wrapping up on the floor, but before we do, we're going to take a quick look at some highlights of the top scores from all 3 teams.
You can see some huge vaults here. Emily Shepard, huge height off the table, followed by Chloe Negretti, another great vault landing. Solid event for the Wolfpack, right into bars. We're really seeing those landings. They've come a long way. I know they're still looking for the sticks, but we've seen some really solid ones so far.
Absolutely, Negretti with her beam dismount, the top scorer on that event. And Western Michigan, it has been Peyton Murphy all the way, the top scorer on all 3 events so far. Uneven bars, beam, and floor, and we're gonna see her one more time on vault.
A huge floor routine for her, a 9.925. Was very fun to watch.
And for the Tar Heels, Elizabeth Colton in that top spot on balance beam. Absolutely gorgeous routine.
Julia Noer, powerhouse athlete. You could see it on her floor routine. And then another great vault for the Tar Heels.
So the gymnasts just wrapping up their 4-minute touch period.
One thing that we've really seen is some big gymnastics a lot of controlled landings and, you know, a decent amount of sticks, probably not as many as all of the coaches on these teams would have wanted to see. But again, that's something that they're working in the gym, really paying attention to those tiny, tiny details that, again, make a huge difference.
And this is the time of season where that's going to really start to come into play as they look to get that national qualifying score and then marginally inch up, and those landings are going to be the biggest difference overall. Right now, all the teams kind of struggling, bordering that 49 mark, and all three coaches, when we talked to them earlier in the week, really looking for 49 to be kind of the bottom, like that needs to be the absolute minimum bar so that they can start going over those. So the Wolfpack team on floor exercise, leading off with Gabby Diaz, and then going to be anchored by Chloe Negretti as she normally does. The Broncos vault team, Abby Singh's going to get them started. Peyton Murphy, you see there, she is in the middle of the pack, and Sarah Morvansky going to be anchoring. Again, that team's got 3 all-around gymnasts on it.
You don't see too many all-around gymnasts often on teams, so 3 is a pretty high number.
Definitely, and that you've just got to, like, the wear and tear on your body. These teams compete 13 weekends in a row, and if you're an all-arounder, that's just a lot of stress, a lot of banging on the body.
It really is. That's why these exhibition routines that we've been talking about are so important, for that exposure and for the coaches to be able to see as well, so that they can pick their lineups and switch in and out.
Definitely, and the fans are getting loud here. This floor lineup for the Wolfpack team is just so much fun. They had a blast competing at Auburn last week, and it's just one of those, it's an arena where it's just loud.
Coach Landers really talked about the girls having a blast, but also how proud she was that they were able to handle that. But you used it as fuel sometimes.
Definitely. This is Jamie Shearer for UNC in the leadoff spot.
Double layout, dismount, had to take that step forward. But had nice body positions in the air.
And that UNC team, they are capable of some really big bar scores. They're high of 49.325, averaging over a 49 at this point in the season.
I think that's something to point out too, is that all these teams are so capable of those 49 scores. It's just really about building that lineup and being able to you know, nail those little things.
And then making it consistent.
Right.
Week after week. Gabby Diaz, again, her 4th routine, because she did exhibition on bars, but all routines, she is the leadoff. Looks like another quick mishap with the music. Just gives the fans another opportunity to cheer.
Yeah, you can hear everyone getting louder and chanting in here now. But that's the best type of environment. That's what you want for a team that's ending on floor exercise.
Definitely, and if you're gonna have a stall, have it be because of the music, and then the fans will just go rowdy.
Here we go again. You can see it on vault. That was a blind landing.
Abby Singh did a layout Yurchenko half and almost sat it down, was able to hold on. Julia Noer finishing up her bar routine for the Tar Heels.
Really pretty first pass for Gabby. Nice double pike.
Julia on the left there, a definite college stick. She landed and stepped and saluted.
We see a lot of those college sticks.
More and more.
Another nice pass on the floor.
Gabby, fantastic with the facial expressions as well, but her music also lends itself towards that, whereas again, we'll see Chloe at the end of the lineup, much more serious routine, much more serious music.
Right.
So Abby seeing a 9-4 on her vault for the Broncos. Always a big breath before the final tumbling pass.
Wow. She nailed that double tuck.
I don't even know that she needed this step, but you get it, so guess she can.
One thing that you could see was her chest up on that landing. So again, she did take the lunge. She didn't need it, but it won't be a deduction on that.
Danny Petrusik on vault.
Really big full, had to take a big hop, and you can see, we've talked about it before, but the lines now on vaulting, so the judges will take off if you're outside of those lines.
There's always been a deduction for direction. The lines just make it a lot more obvious.
Very obvious.
Gwen Fink, as we move back to the Tar Heels on the bars.
Really big Jaeger release move. Looks like she was a little bit far away on that, but caught that.
She did. Got those dowels over the bar and was able to hold on.
And now for this dismount. Big double layout. Slight hop on the landing. It looked like her handstand on high bar was a little bit short as well. We really want to see those handstands on top of the bar for no deduction.
Hallie Faulkner for the Broncos.
That was a nice vault. You could see the distance from the table to the landing. That is something that the judges look at as well. She did a great job. Let's take another look. Really good distance. Broke out and still had too much power, so had to take that hop.
And now that we're in week 5 of this season, the gymnasts are getting used to landing on hard floors. When they're in the gym and practicing, a lot of times they're landing on much softer mats. Vaulting, a lot of times they vault onto a resi pit, which is a giant piece of foam in the floor. And then they put as many harder or more firm mats on top of it as they can, but it still doesn't replicate landing on a mat on a basketball floor.
Right, the preparation is so crucial, especially for an event like floor and vault with those hard landings. You have to practice and expect, you know, it to be a little bit different than those softer resi ones.
Peyton Murphy.
A nice vault for her as well.
Elizabeth Colton there for the Tar Heels, and then Madison Benson for the Wolfpack. Colton, some really great shoulder work.
Nice dismount. Now on floor exercise. Beautiful double pike first pass. Again, that jump series. There are certain requirements that you have to have on floor as well.
NC State ranked first in the Eagle Conference on this event. This is their lowest rank nationally. They're 29th nationally on floor, still in the top 30. But out of all the events, floor, there's some teams that just put up some really big scores on floor.
And a lot of that comes from how clean the floor routine is, the landings, and sometimes the difficulty, which, again, we've seen more difficulty this year than in the past. And now for her last pass, double tuck.
Oh, and that's definitely unfortunate. We'll let the coaches handle that as we take a look over at Cassie St. Clair. A very unique vault, a Souk 1.5, which is actually worth a 10.0 for this Broncos team.
And wow, what a great landing on that vault.
So Madison getting tended to from the trainers.
Just looked like she landed short on that last pass.
Lali Dekanoita.
Lali has such a great bar routine. She's been so consistent these last couple weeks. Beautiful lines, beautiful form. Getting ready for this dismount. Wow. Nice routine.
And just similar to Chloe, it's just like, this is my day job. I'm just gonna go do what I do every single time in practice.
You can see on this dismount just how it flies in the air. She breaks out of it, knows where that landing is.
And she's got the sting mat, which is about a 2-inch mat, plus an 8-inch mat.
Makes it a little more difficult. Wow, over to the vault, a stuck full.
Sarah Moravansky, so finishing up their lineup. A great vault rotation for the Broncos. They do have Donna K. Roy listed as an exhibition, so we may have one more vaulter. On the uneven bars, we are going to be anchored by Elizabeth Schaefer, or Isabel Schaefer. So Madison getting some help off the floor. Definitely unfortunate. That was such a good floor routine as well.
Such a good routine, and you hate to see those injuries that happen. These girls work so hard all day, all fall. So it's never fun to see that.
So she's gonna get some help from the trainers.
Back over on vault. Another good full from Western Michigan.
And Isabel Schaefer in the anchor spot for this Tar Heel team.
A nice dismount in the air. She did squat a little bit too much, but really pretty otherwise.
Let's take another look. So again, great amplitude.
Just had to take that extra squat, so that will be a deduction, but in the air, it was beautiful.
So again, Donna K. Roy exhibitioning. You see Madison there. They've got to get the tape that was around her ankles and everything cut off so they can actually look at it. In the meantime, NC State's going to finish up on floor, and you know they're going to try to finish even extra strong.
A nice vault, was straight from the table, had to take that step back. So that'll be a deduction.
Krista Zoltovich.
Now this routine, it's a little tougher coming off of an injury. But really great, 2.5 to punch front. Has no problem there. You can see her teammates cheering for her on the side.
And Krista definitely has some extra experience being one of the juniors on the team. A little bit, maybe a little bit easier for her than possibly a freshman.
Big double tuck. And that's a solid routine. That's a great way to bounce back. Again, you hate to see these injuries happen, but it's even more important as well for the next person to be able to reset and get the team back on track.
Definitely. So a great routine out of Krista. They've still got 3 really strong performers coming up: Lauren Rutherford, Emily Shepard, and Chloe Negretti. Kristen a little emotional after that one. So UNC and Western Michigan done with their events. They are 4 for 4 under their belt. And we've got 3 routines left out of this Wolfpack team. Lauren Rutherford up next. Just a sophomore, but again, one that has a lot of personality.
Absolutely, and some big tumbling as well.
Struggled a little bit last week, so this opening tumbling pass, a 2.5 punch front.
Huge 2.5.
And she got it. Last week she missed. She actually wasn't able to even do the front.
No problem this week.
No problem. So she tried that in her second tumbling pass, which is her final tumbling pass, and ended up falling. Hit it this week. Fantastic. Really needed that one. So floor routine as normal.
You can tell she's having fun during this whole routine. Here she goes for her next tumbling pass. A round off back handspring, really big double top. Had to take that step forward. But a nice hit routine.
Fantastic finish. So again, one of the 2 tumbling pass routines, which we see more and more often. So they've got 2 more under their belt. Again, right now, really performing. Not only wanting to drop the fall from Madison, but also almost performing in her honor.
Absolutely. These girls are so close as teammates, as friends. You're with each other almost all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, when something unfortunate like that happens, you want to perform even better, in this case, for Maddie.
So we've got 2 seniors to anchor the Wolfpack lineup. Emily Shepard, who will be first. She's actually ranked #1 in the all-around in the Eagle Conference. Chloe Negretti ranked 3rd in the Eagle Conference on floor. Negretti not competing in the all-around. She doesn't do bars. That was the only event we did not see her on.
They do have great potential, though, for a solid floor score if these next 2 routines hit. She just looks in the zone.
She really does. I was going to say, she's been super consistent in that like 9.8, 9.9 range. I'm going to knock on wood as to not mess anything up.
Huge double pipe.
Again, the TV just doesn't show how dynamic some of this tumbling actually is.
She was sky high on that. For her second tumbling pass. A front layout Rudy. Looked like she lost a little bit of control in that, but covered it well.
Absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. A little low, a little off.
But depending on where the judges are sitting, one might take more than the other. It's harder to tell from this angle.
It really is. And the biggest thing is you want the second salto to rise from the first one. So that's probably going to be the biggest deduction, as they were both very even. So final tumbling pass.
Really big double top.
Drops drops it out of the sky, doesn't even take the lunge.
That's what you want.
So whatever she missed on the middle tumbling pass, she made up for on that final one. And that's going to be a great score for the Wolfpack team. They've been in the lead since rotation number 1, but not by much. So quick look at the second pass.
You can see it just looked like it didn't rise, like you said, on that second pass.
And then just drops this one out of the sky. Perfect.
That one was flawless.
So final competitor in the lineup is Chloe Negretti, ranked 3rd in the conference on this event, a season high of a 9.925. Emily, you always wonder what she's thinking, like, oh man, what did I do on that second pass? But it looks like the score's in a 9.875, so they didn't take too much.
Wow, yeah. That is a nice score. So I can only imagine if that middle pass was how she normally does, you're looking at a 9.9 plus.
So as long as Chloe can put all passes, everything to her feet, I'm gonna knock on wood now, the Wolfpack team should be able to come out with the win. Right now you see UNC in the lead, but that NC State score is still counting the fall from Madison Benson.
And Chloe, as we've talked about, such a fierce competitor. She's exactly who I would want to be in this anchor spot.
So we've talked about the smiles and the facial expressions. Her facial expression is there. It's just very serious. Much more dramatic music.
First pass, run up by Kid Spring, double pike, landed with her chest up.
You get a little smile out of that.
There you go. Really nice leaps.
Gorgeous leaps, just that 180 degrees.
Next pass. Front full, punch front layout. Looked like she had a little bounce out of that, but kind of made it into dance.
Yeah, a little too much at the end there.
Really showing off that beautiful leg and toe point extension.
So 2 down, 1 to go. Always that big breath before the final tumbling pass. Just got to put it to her feet.
And she did that very easily. A nice double tuck to end that routine. And the crowd going crazy.
So a fantastic and very emotional finish for this Wolfpack team. We'll see if the exhibitions do compete.
Look at her second pass right here. Can see how she kind of hopped. And
She did, that little hop at the end. They're allowed that step, so it'll be interesting what the judges do.
no deduction on that last pass, though. Beautiful.
And again, probably didn't even need that step, but sometimes you're in the habit of taking it that you just take it.
Right. You really don't stick it often without moving your feet. So it's better to practice the lunge.
So I see a 9.9, a 9.95. That'll be a 9.925, which will clinch the win for the Wolfpack team. We do have one exhibition. And that's going to be Lex Ortega.
And this will be her fourth event as well of the night.
Lex, not one that we normally see in this exhibition spot. We've seen Haley Merchant a few times, but Coach Landers has talked about that they do have some depth, and unfortunately, they're going to need some of that.
Nice Rudy for her first pass. Say front 1.5.
Some of these skills have names of gymnasts that have competed them internationally and gotten them named after them. So the Rudy is, like you said, a front 1.5.
Right. I was just going to say, some of the names are hard to keep up with.
And some of them have multiple names, or they have multiple skills named after them. So you've got multiple Horkinas, multiple Biles. There's lots of them out there.
So far, a really nice routine from Lex Ortega, getting ready for her last pass.
So the fans are up, the teammates are up.
Front layout, front fall.
Great bonus combination to end the routine.
She's excited about it. You can see her team rushing over to her as well.
So a fantastic finish. Again, we wish Madison Benson all the best in recovery. But again, that will clinch it for the Wolfpack team there. You see that 196.275. So although they were 49 and below on bars and beam, they were able to pull it back and pull out the win in this home meet for the pink season. So some last words of encouragement from Coach Landris. We're going to take a quick break. We've got a coach's interview afterwards, and then stay tuned for the awards. Welcome back. You can see the team totals on this tri-meet Saturday for the pink meet at NC State, pulling out the win with a 196.275. We've got Coach Landris with us. Congratulations on pulling out the win. You led the entire way. I want to talk a little bit about bars. We had one fall, but didn't have to count it, luckily. How were you able to really pull the team back after that, just going into the rest of that event and the final two events?
You know, I think on bars, you just have to be normal. No matter what somebody does in front of you, you just have to be normal. We train for this, and so they know how to do their routine, so they just have to worry about just do you. That's the thing, just do you. As far as carrying on to the second half of the meet, I think we just continued. I say this meet was full of grit, right? It was not an easy meet, but it was full of grit, and they persevered, and they kept going all the way to the final routine with Lex and exhibition, so really great to see. Shows character.
Absolutely.
And Coach, a great home crowd turnout. I mean, so many fans, they were involved in every single routine. How did this really impact the competition for you all?
You know, we love our fans. We love noise. I mean, I think that sometimes people think you need to be quiet. No, bring it on. Get loud, get loud. So I think we just thrive on that atmosphere.
Absolutely.
And you've got an Eagle meet next weekend, 3 teams. What are you going in looking for?
You know, I think we have to continue the climb. We have to continue to get after our landings. We've been doing so well in practice, in competition, in warm-ups today. And so we got some, but I know we have more in us. So we're going to keep working on those landings and just the little details and continue the climb.
We saw the warm-ups with the sticks. We'll get them in the competition. So good luck on the road next weekend. We'll see you back here in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. But for the whole crew, for Sydney Sneed, I'm Rachel Garland. We thank you for tuning in to this edition of Women's Gymnastics on ESPN.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here are tonight's results. Here are tonight's top finishers. Home balls with a three-way tie. Emily Shepard from North Carolina State. Chloe McCray, North Carolina State. And then Lolly Captain-Rose from North Carolina. On uneven bars, with a score of 9.950 from North Carolina, Lolly Captain-Rose. On balance beam, with a score of 9.875 from North Carolina State, Chloe McCray. On the floor exercise with a three-way tie. At scores of 9.925 from North Carolina State, Chloe McCray. From North Carolina, Julia Miller. And from Western Michigan, Peyton Murphy. And today's all-around winner with a score of 39.375 from North Carolina State University, Emily Shepard. And now for today's final team results. In third place with a score of 195.525, Western Michigan.